Yo, what's up, everybody? So, welcome to another guided meditation. We've spent some time working on clairvoyance, and the first week I was kind of like, I'm like, why do you want to like unlock your clairvoyance? There's like no reason to unlock your clairvoyance, and I'm like, so then from there I was like, okay, let's go ahead and unlock our clairvoyance. And then I still kind of did a little bit of that last week too, right? And so then just to stay on theme and on brand, and I'm just kidding. Um, and probably but I think I just like start to talk and then I just like get off on tangents, right? But what I wanted to focus on today, and for new folks, I kind of like will talk a little bit, try to like explain what we're going to do to kind of give the framework and the, I almost want to say like the way that we're orienting to the thing. And this is just like the case for myself. To me, to be honest, I think energy work, it, one part is just techniques, right? It's just like the kind of like knowing the recipe and following the recipe. And truly, like, all of the really badass things that we hear that people did historically or do now, right? Like, you can have it, but they have a cost, like you have to like bust your ass to get it. You really do have to put in the work. Sometimes the cost is like healing my relationship to my mom. Sometimes the cost is like uncomfortable conversations about boundaries with my friends, right? Like if the cost is like giving up my resentments, right? Like there's something that these things need from us, right? Um, and there's the recipe part, but then there's like the intention and the motivation. And I think for myself, the motivation is always by far the most important, because I can be really technically skilled at, and I think of like doctors that might be like technically skilled at medicine, but not be healers, or therapists that are technically good at providing, therapeutic interventions that follow textbooks, that follow like, DSM-5 recommendations, but not be able to hold space, not be able to like interact with big emotions, not have done their own work, truly, and so I can get a degree in whatever the fuck I want, but it doesn't mean I can like meaningfully create the thing that I'm promising to create, and I kind of think of that in like a lot of different ways, but I can read all of the books on like being a doctor. I can hang out at all the places that doctors hang out, but it don't make me a doctor. It doesn't work that way. And so similarly, like I think, for a lot of these things, it's like we have to be qualified. Like there has to be something deep within us that says like, I've earned this. This is my gift that I'm unlocking, and this is why I'm unlocking it. And I hope that makes sense. So it's not it's like not gatekeeping. It's not trying to like, keep folks from having things that are intrinsically ours. It's actually the opposite. It's that like these gifts are so precious that they won't let you misuse them. Like they won't let you unlock them too soon. And for myself, like that key to open those doors is our motivation, is like, what do you want with this, like this human life, this this experience, right? And so I get people all the time that they're like, I want to unlock my clairvoyance, or like, I want to heal the earth, and I'm like, yo, you're not even on earth. What I'm saying? I'm like, it's, bro, but you should try it out. Like, I mean, it's pretty cool down here. But similarly, people are like, oh, I want to unlock my clairvoyance. And like, they're like not even in their body, and I'm like, whoa, what if we could just start here maybe before you, um, or like, again, that, and we've done a lot of meditations here. So we've done this, I mean, I think there's like over 100 meditations. I've done a bunch of courses. So for folks that are new, we've as a community spent all of this time really growing in our authenticity. And again, right, because like I can unlock clairvoyance, but if I'm not in my authentic energies, then I won't be clear. Like the clairvoyance will be online, but I won't be able to like hold any weight and do anything meaningful with it. So then I think at that point, again, like then those gifts are just burdens, really. Like it's not helpful. I give the example all the time. It's like having a Ferrari that I use to like prop the door open during like the summertime, you know, and like I don't even like use it all the time. I'm like, yeah, like the other 6 months it just stays out there, you know, like I don't know, sometimes we throw a blanket over it, or like having an airplane that I drive down the street to get groceries. And you're like, do you ever fly the thing? I'm like, nah, we don't really fly it. I mean, it's just, you know, like, like, yeah, it's a doghouse. Exactly. Thank you, Idiani. Right. So like it literally won't help. And sometimes, you know, if I have my clairvoyance online, but not good boundaries, then like we be messy. We're gonna be like in people's business all the time. And that's not fun. You know, or even sometimes like I've seen folks will like, you know, have clairvoyance online or like be unlocking those gifts, and then we're like biting off more than we can chew, right? So meaning like trying to do sessions on people when like I should maybe like focus on my own inner work, which I mean, I think we could do both, right? Um, but I think like staying really within our capacity, staying within like our lane. And that's a process of just like humility, you know? And I also think it's a process of like really attuning, because life will let us know what we're qualified to do and what we're not qualified to do. And I don't know about y'all, but for myself, I share this all the time, but for a long time, I thought being an energy worker meant like having my guides chew me out all the time. Like that's what I thought it meant. Like, you know, I'd be like, all right, I'm ready. I'm gonna meditate. And like I'd be like, all right, I'm gonna ask my guides what my gifts are. And they'd be like, your gift is to go clean your room, bro, for once. And I'm like, okay, damn. And then they're like, shower, please. And I'm like, oh, right. I'm like, I don't know if I like meditating, right? Like, and I would get all this like feedback, right? and and that's literally what I thought for most of my life. I thought that's what it meant to be an energy worker. It wasn't like astral projection, doing cool things, right? It was like allowing myself to be held accountable by like these really pure like expressions of life, these really pure expressions of consciousness, and to like let them like mold us and temper us and like help us be bigger than we are, right? Greater than we are, right? Because it feels up to like me, little Ken, like I'd be fucking eating ice cream, Cheez-Its, you know, not at the same time, obviously, that's not cool, right? Separate occasions, eating Cheez-Its or ice cream and watching Netflix, right? Because that'd be fun, right? And that'd be kind of it, right? Maybe I'd walk sometimes. I have to walk, right? So to stay healthy. And that'd be kind of it, right? But then the bigger aspects of us, right? They're the ones that have that movement, that motivation, and then the ones that like yearn deeply to like contribute to life, that yearn deeply to contribute to our communities, and like they have a reason to be here. And so with all that being said, right, like clairvoyance can help us do that with precision. But again, if those other things aren't online, it's like having a little tricycle and adding rocket fuel to that. Like it's not gonna help, you know? So um all that to say, with this work, just start first at your heart, right? Start first at your motivation. And what the safeguard, right, is that we're only unlocking the clairvoyance that our motivation can hold. We're only unlocking the clairvoyance that will help us on our path, that will help us be kinder, more generous beings, that will help us heal, that will help us hold bigger parts of our shadow, project less, right? Because any clairvoyance that helps me project greater onto my friends and family, right? Like isn't a gift yet, right? That shit's gonna be a burden quick. So that's the safeguard, right? That's our little safety net. I think of like on the road, right? Those are like the little guardrails. But what we're gonna do is just really unlock. You know, oftentimes when people talk about clairvoyance, we're thinking like our third eye, and it is that. You know, when people talk about downloading, they think like, you know, our crown center, and it is that. But there's also like a whole, you could think of it as like a whole complex of like energy centers and like energetic structures. And and so, you know, you can get a download, not that it's not that hard, but actually being able to assimilate it and embody it to be an expression of it, to be able to like take that download and ground it and to start to create a world based on these things, like that should take skill, right? Being able to get a download, like you can probably smoke weed and like get a download, you know what I'm saying? Like it's not that, you know, just looking at my hands, I'm like, bro, I'm like, it's all love, man. Right? Like it's, you don't, it doesn't take a lot of skill, right? But to be an expression of love, right? Like now that would take great skill. So we're gonna just kind of evolve all of that, right? And then the next idea, and I was talking about it in the first session, you can kind of think of it as location. And so once this is all online, right, then like the location from which I'm looking has to be, you could think of it as like stable, but even like validated. Like I have to have owned my lived experiences and my place to be able to look at anything with clarity. And we're just going to do it. But what we're going to do is honor both like our lived experiences and where our soul is in its trajectory. And the reason this matters, right, is, you know, let's say like, even if we just think of age, like chronological age, right? You know, if there's an 8-year-old giving relationship advice, right, they're going to be like, oh, you just have to like find somebody you love that loves you. And like, it's probably, I'm like, that's cool. You know, that's a really smart 8-year-old, you know? And then there's somebody who's like 15 that they've been in one relationship and they're giving us advice, right? And then somebody who's like 35, right? And like, if we think of just even like location, that insight will be different. And let's say each of them say exactly the same thing. An 8-year-old says, you just have to find somebody you really love. A 15-year-old, a 20-year-old, a 45-year-old, right? Age is one location. But then you could think about somebody who has 0 relationships and is 8, and maybe somebody who's 45 and is like a monk or a nun, and they're also giving us relationship advice. Again, like cool advice, but location, we have to consider that they haven't dated. And it kind of matters with dating advice to have dated before, in my opinion. I don't know about y'all. But then there's somebody who say, let's say, has had 10 failed relationships, and then they're like giving us advice. Or somebody who's got like 5 relationships that they feel really good about. Maybe they talk to some of those exes. Maybe they don't talk to any, right? Like all these things matter. And so what I'm saying is like on a soul level, there's things that we know across lifetimes. And our clairvoyance will anchor into that wisdom. And like a new soul will look at things different than like an old soul. And regardless of our soul age, let's say, and like how many lifetimes we've been at it, like that doesn't really matter. It just matters that like I can anchor into, let's say, like the momentum of my moment in time, my like location in time, my location in growth and lessons. I hope it makes sense. Y'all could be in the chat if it's not. And then what that's going to do is once this whole complex is online, and once I honor, you can kind of think of it as like it lines things up. You know, so it's like having a telescope and the lenses are all like confused, right? Like you're just going to see nothing, right? But then if you have a telescope and like our location is lined up, my motivation for looking, and like my specific like lenses are clear, then when I look, I can look with precision to get answers that will help me in my soul's path. I'm a little lost. Cool. That happens. Makes sense. These are analogies. Cool. Yeah. So I guess what I'm saying is like there's just different lenses that we're gonna clean up, and we're gonna and the more lined up those are, then like the more that they enter, that the thing that we're looking at can actually like matter for us. So location. You're funny, Aaron. Okay, cool. Well, let's just do it. We'll see what's up, right? We'll see. Y'all can be in the chat if things aren't making sense. I'm just kind of like looking around to make sure I'm speaking to everything. My guides are happy with everything I'm speaking to. Cool. Yeah, let's just do it. We'll see what's up. So for everyone that's new, we're going to just actually do energy work now. And we're going to start by imagining that we're all in this really beautiful energetic container. And this energetic container, it's like a bubble of our intentions, of our shared agreements. And I love having the intention that this is a space where all of us is welcome, where we can do really beautiful healing work, where we can grow, where we can get our own answers. And energy work in particular, like, yeah, there's no right answers. It's all about what works, what's really fun, what's efficient. And we're working on our clairvoyance. And again, we're going to have the intention in our group space that we're going to unlock the clairvoyance that's going to help us grow, help us be kinder friends, show up for difficult moments with lots of compassion. I'm sure y'all have like beautiful teachers you're working with, so maybe unlocking our clairvoyance so that when we go to get those teachings, we can like really see them, really receive them, really grow. It's also a space where resistance is welcome. It's going to come up. We're going to get triggered. And we also are working on having the skills to like hold that resistance, love it up, soften, and grow. Perfect. And then we can bring our own individual intentions, and that can be maybe something more specific, like healing my relationship to a specific person, maybe a goal or an outcome that I'm looking to create. Or our goal could be more general, like learning more about our purpose. And again, just bringing those into the space, and imagine that earth and universal energy start to fill the container, and they're responding to our individual goals. And these energies are responding to our like community goals here together. And then we're going to invite our guides and master guidance to hold it down for us in the spirit world. They're going to do the heavy lifting. And we're going to start by bringing attention to our personal aura. And you can imagine that's just a little bubble around you. And just kind of notice what's happening at the edges of that bubble. Notice if there's any like tears in your aura, any gaps. Sometimes there'll be parts of our aura that like you literally just can't feel anything there. Maybe that's at the back, maybe that's towards our feet. And we're going to refresh our connection to the earth and just let earth energies come up and start to hold and support your auric bubble. We're going to allow inauthentic energies to release. You can allow earth energies to just ground your authentic energies. And just kind of allow your intuition to make any refinements to how you want to run your aura. So maybe the bubble wants to get a little bigger if I'm condensed, like kind of like guarded. Maybe the bubble wants to collect if I'm too out, too dissipated. And just kind of make those little adjustments until you're like, I like this. And I love anchoring things so you can bring a different color in. So just kind of see what color or colors your aura wants to run in this moment. And so now that like these authentic energies are in our space, now that our little arc bubble's got some flow going through it, we're going to bring earth and universal energies and our attention to our crown, our third eye, and just like our whole like energy perception centers. And even you can think of it like a whole complex of energetic structures, a whole complex of energy centers. And as earth energies light that whole area up, imagine that you can just like put that whole complex out in front of you. You could think of it as like a little picture or a little hologram. You have it on like a screen. And we're just kind of bounce around different areas. But we're going to start at our crown and just allow on that screen earth and universal energies to start to wash over our crown energy center. And again, just sitting with our motivation of like why we would want to open our clairvoyance. And then allowing the depth of that asking to open our crown. And we're going to wash over it with earth, healing, nourishing water. And fire. Wind. And then with that crown space open, just let the universe, the divine, our guides, respond to that ask. And we can do so energetically. We can upload lessons into our Akashic. To make space for those openings, let's imagine that we put out in front of us everything that we think we know about energy work, everything we think we know about clairvoyance. And if there's any lessons that are still there for us to learn, you can upload those into your Akashic. And just let your intuition and your knowingness to just start to clear and release anything that's like extra, anything that isn't helpful, even anything that I already learned and embodied. And as those clear and release, allow these new openings to have space to fill. And as that gently opens our crown, we're going to bring our awareness to our third eye. And that can be like right between our eyebrows or right at the center of our forehead, wherever makes more sense to you. And again, we're working on that screen. We're going to bring earth and universe energies. And gently wash over those centers with earth, healing, nourishing water, the element of fire, the element of wind, and just share. Why would you want to have clairvoyance? And again, as we kind of like rest into our motivation, allow universal energies to respond to that asking. Even if we can't put words to it, just that desire to embody our gifts, to be the best version of ourselves. Our answer to that question of why we're here. And even if it's like, I know I'm here to help someone, somewhere. Let that unlock. Again, that center of your head, center of your eyebrows. And as those gifts open, as these energies come in, we're going to gently allow any downloads. First, unlocking them in our Akashic, allowing our guides to translate them. If it's appropriate, those downloads can evolve what we're up to on a soul level. Allowing our conscious mind to evolve, subconscious, our body. Good. We're going to just integrate that. So we're going to put magnets in front of us and behind us to clear. We'll refresh our connection to the earth and bring up all these beautiful deep earth energies. We'll have our guides recall our authentic energies. And one more time, just kind of notice the edges of your aura. So take this new clairvoyance out for a spin. Notice any places that your awareness doesn't flow. And so sometimes that's like behind us, under our feet. Just if you can bring earth and universal energies and just start to kind of like fill in those spaces if that feels appropriate. Or you can have your guides offer energetic healings to those parts of our aura if it feels like there's a tear. If there's any unprocessed or unassimilated experiences, we're going to let them sit out in front of us like little pictures. And then we're going to allow ourselves to wash over those with earth and with healing, nourishing water. The element of fire, the element of wind. Bring some golden cosmic energies to complete those. And one more time, clear with magnets. One more time, recall your authentic energies and just watch as those authentic energies fill in these gaps and these spaces. And one more time, we'll refresh our connection to the earth. Let that gently evolve your identity, your self-concept. Let it evolve your reality and belief structures. Let it evolve your whole understanding of how to work with subtle energies. The frameworks that you're using, let them organize how to see. Even if there's any evolutions you can bring in for your conscious mind to even help make sense of all this. Helping us understand what we're up to, what we're doing. And then we're going to go one step deeper, and once again we'll bring earth and universe energies. And we have our open crown and our open third eye. And let's just imagine that there's a place where our crown and our third eye meet at the center of our head. And as you bring your awareness there, imagine that we can just wash over that whole area. And sometimes I like to imagine it's like a crystal. And just imagine your guides can dust that crystal off. Offering all these beautiful energetic healings. If there's aspects of that little crystal that maybe were more appropriate in another lifetime, or maybe are just ready to transition, we can let those aspects upload into our Akashic. And let your inner wisdom, your soul and essence, in collaboration with your guides and the earth, just bring in a whole new energetic structure. So a brand new little crystal. And just have that crystal show you how you can use it to see. So sometimes the crystal will show you images, and you can look through the crystal like a lens. Maybe the crystal's not ready to show you how you're going to see, but just ask, how will you help me clairvoyantly see? And that could be a fun project to take home. And we can also ask the question of like, how will clairvoyance help me help more people, or will clairvoyance help me be the best version of myself? And just see if the crystal can give you an answer. Perfect. Whatever those answers are, and even if we're not getting answers, we're gonna just really celebrate this like new friend that we made and this new place that we can get information. We're gonna refresh our connection to the earth and just let the earth celebrate your growth, your efforts to heal, your efforts to help people. We're going to wash over our whole aura with earth energies. Wash over our whole aura with healing, nourishing water, the element of fire, and wind. And we're going to go one step deeper, and this time let's come to the back of our head. Kind of think of it in like that brainstem area. And let those earth and universal energies kind of hold that back of our head. And once again, you can kind of put those energies out in front of you on a little screen. And just see if there's any heaviness, if there's any unprocessed energies. For myself, I found like a lot of ancestral energies here for myself, and a lot of like survival strategies. If anything like that is present, or even if nothing like that is present, we're just going to wash over that whole back of our head, brainstem area with earth, with healing, nourishing water. We'll bring that element of fire. And then we're just going to create this really big space to heal any unprocessed experiences, complete any karmic energies that might be there. You can just kind of let your intuition and your guides clear that karma. There could be ancestral karma to clear. And again, just kind of trust that these energies are available, and if we call on them, they can help us out. And we'll bring that element of wind. And then let's just allow that part of our, again, kind of like head area to just get to ask from the earth and universe for whatever it's wanting and needing. And so maybe it's wanting lots of love, and we can bring these like deep red energies in. Maybe it's wanting lots of celebration for ways that these ancestral programs have protected us, kept us safe. And as we celebrate this area of our perceptive abilities, this whole area of our consciousness, we're going to give it permission to heal. We're going to give this area permission to evolve, awaken. Now, one more time, we're going to wash over our whole aura with earth, healing, nourishing water, the element of fire and wind. And we're just going to let this whole energy process clear, dissolve, and integrate, gently evolving each of our centers. We're going to clear our field with magnets, refresh our connection to the earth. We'll have our guides recall our authentic energies, and then one more time, just gonna tune back into your motivation. And that your motivation, the depth of your asking, be what unlocks this clairvoyance, just however much is going to help us help others, help us grow, help us be kinder friends, kinder relatives, partners, caregivers, children. And then we're going to let that evolve our identity and our self-concept, our reality and belief structures. We'll offer these energies back in time. And for some of us, we can bring these energies in a month ago. Some of us maybe a little bit later, a little sooner. Just kind of let your intuition find that sweet spot to just really integrate all these new openings. And as that evolves our past, let that evolve your present. As it evolves your present, let it evolve your future. And one last time, we'll bring lots of sparkles. We'll refresh our connection to the earth. We'll recall our authentic energies. And then we're just gonna consciously individuate, and we're just gonna have earth energies come up and celebrate our container. And we did something really beautiful and important today. We're going to consciously recall our energy from one another. So I'm going to call my energies back. You call your energies back. We're then going to release other people's energies from our space, giving them their energies back to them or their guides. We can clear matching pictures with each other. Just imagine, like, if anyone said anything in the comments or even just their energies or anything I said, just let that light up whatever things are unprocessed. And with our new clairvoyance, you just increase your permission to like see. And sometimes I'll let them be pictures. Sometimes you can make them little bubbles that you pop. Sometimes people will make them into roses to clear. Just whatever helps us get there. And then with this beautiful container, imagine that we just can like send it out into the universe. If there's any people that have a deep yearning to grow, have the commitment and the motivation, and they want to unlock their gifts, there's containers like this that they can call on. Containers like this just continue to grow and help more people that are ready and can use these skills to continue to grow and evolve on Earth, and just like, contributing to this whole human exploration. And boom. Boom, boom, boom. Cool, y'all. What's up? Comments, questions. We did a thing. Wow, so amazing. Anyone feel cool? Stuff unlocked. Top tier. Yeah, so funny. That was a big one for me. I need a nap. Somebody barked. Guess that's good. How do you visualize the Akashic records? I don't know, different ways. when you feel the edges of your aura, does it help you feel into your skin? Maybe I'm not understanding the question. I think there's etheric energies that you can think of those as like the energies that run through our meridians, right? That like feed and nourish like our skin, our cells, our muscles, bones, ligaments, and those stop at the edge of our skin-ish. There's like little waves of them, so you can see like if somebody's got like if they're running real beautiful juice, they're like then the aura, depending on the layer, but typically they say like it runs like 3 feet from the edges of your skin. So yeah, I don't know, maybe I'm not understanding the question, but that's my answer. Blue, I was just talking shit. So how do you visualize the Akashi records? I mean, I think it's up to you. There's different traditions. Like I don't really think it matters that much, to be honest. Maybe a better question is, how do you build relationship to the Akashic? How do you get permission to access the Akashic? Even better question is, how can we contribute to the work that the Akashic is doing? And for myself, a lot of that just comes from like, the work that we just did now is like, just really resting in like, like why am I wanting this collaboration? Because truly, these things, they're not sustained like on their own. Like the Akashic, like I always like to come up with analogies, but like I think about like our roads and like the shitty roads. I'm in Tucson, right? Like the shitty roads in Tucson, like, and the really nice ones, like tax paying money paid for both of it, like it's, so like I paid for those things, right? And the Akashic, right? Like you can imagine that all consciousness is contributing and is benefited by it. And so like our relationship to it can contribute to the Akashic and it can contribute to us. And we need to know that connection isn't always clear, right? Like if you tell a kid, like, I paid for the road, they're like, my dad built this road, right? Like they're like, my daddy said he paid for this, right? But like a child wouldn't necessarily understand that, like, it's when I do my taxes at the end of the year. Maybe it's when I buy my cigarettes, right? Some of that money goes to like different, I think it depends by the state, right? But some of those, like, what do they call it, sin tax? Because like, taxes and alcohol is taxed differently, right? Some of those go through specific programs and like the community, right? So we don't always see like the back end of those things. And I would say similarly with the Akashic, like we don't see the back end of it. But we can. You just have to like be qualified to like visit, and you qualified to know. And like a 5-year-old playing outside, I'm not gonna be like, well, Timmy, let me tell you about these roads real quick. I'm like, $5 out of each cigarette, like, right? Like, nah, it's not helpful, So, we want to know the Akashic, like you can, it's like available to us, but why? Anyways, when the fire element cleared the back of my head, felt so much clearer throughout my body. Yeah, that's what's up. Yeah, I haven't really heard anybody talk about it. In my own exploration, I found all kinds of shit back here, guys. Like, yo, like so much shit in the back of my head. So I just thought it'd be fun for us to do that. I found all kinds of like just huge fear, like the back of my head was like, you have to store food because then if the winter comes and you don't have food, you're gonna starve. And I'm like, bro, I am not a caveman anymore. They're like, make sure you have big rocks. Big rocks are gonna help if you have to fight anybody. I'm just like, okay. And again, I think the brainstem, even like biologically, kind of handles the things behind the scenes, literally behind the scenes. But even like it's called the autonomic nervous system. So like our heartbeat, even like our vasodilation, so like blood flow and things like that. So when we were clearing it with that fire, a lot of it was meant to clear like the nervous system and how the body communicates. So anyways, I love taking refuge in my motivation today. Aaron, that's what's up. Yeah, this is in Buddhism, we have like everything starts with refuge, meaning like we start by like going to things that we believe can protect us. So in Buddhism, traditionally, like you would go to a Buddha, you would go to like a being, but like a child goes to refuge to their mother. And and in this practice, right, we were going to refuge in like the purity of our heart and the purity of our intentions. And we're like, I know that the purity of my heart will guide me. And so like, it doesn't matter what we want, but if our heart's behind it, then we can have it. And again, like we can have it, but it's gonna ask us, how bad do you want it? And that's how we were like cutting through each step of the way. So yeah, Aaron, that's what's up. This was really big. Love the crystal. Yeah, and just to say, y'all, there isn't an actual crystal in your head, right? Like, don't like go looking for rocks. We use the crystal as a symbol to like really anchor and structure something. Oftentimes things are symbols meant to invoke something. So let's say, if somebody gives you a practice to like imagine your heart opening like a flower, your heart doesn't become a flower, but that image will help you open your heart. So sometimes, people will say that the crown is like a flower with 1,000 petals, right? It doesn't necessarily mean that, right? But it will help us open that. So just so nobody believes that we actually have crystals in our head. We might, but I don't fucking know. I'm making it up. One step at a time, I'm making it up, y'all. So don't buy into it. I'm like 30 comments too late, y'all. Yo, my third eye had lashes. That's so beautiful. Dang, that's what's up, Joan. I knew it. I knew you were gonna unlock that soon enough. Perfect. Yeah, and with all of this, right? Like, there's gonna be moments that this stuff like turns on, and moments that it's just like woo, woo, woo. But our motivation, like, we can continue to refine that, right? We can continue to stay pressed against the things that we see as valuable. But for myself, like I was sharing at the first sessions, like, I don't know why, y'all, like sometimes like the stars are aligned, I ate breakfast, you know what I'm saying? Like my ancestors are happy, and my clairvoyance is fucking fire. And I can like track shit outside of time, parallel lives, other realms. And then there's other times that I'm like trying to do an energy read and it's just like, wah, wah, wah. Right? But my commitment to be the best version of myself, this person asking me for help, my desire to help them, my relationship to my guides, the earth, like that doesn't waver. And so then I can still get clear insight on how to help them, but I might not see it, right? So I hope it's helpful. And then again, you practice it too, right? Like the work that we did right now is literally like the start of how to get started to begin to do the work. Like you gotta like really practice this. Like somebody one time was like, yo, I wanna get really good at sessions. Like, how do I do it? And I'm like, yo, you just literally have to do like 1,000 sessions. Like you wanna get really good at sessions, you just gotta do hella sessions. Like you wanna get really good at opening your like clairvoyance, like you just have to like be really curious, right? Like you got to do your own work. You got to like squeaky clean your third eye, squeaky clean your crown, squeaky clean that back of your head. I mean, to be honest, like I do this like every day throughout my day, a couple times a day, like maybe 5, 6 times. And it's just like in the background happening. There's a lot of like practices like clearing matching pictures. I'll like notice tension in my body just throughout my day. It's just happening because I'm really excited to get that information. Right. So I'm like, ooh, my crown is like turned off. And I'm like, oh my God, every time I talk to this person, my crown shuts down. I'm like, oh my God, I'm totally projecting onto them. Right. I'm like, oh shit, that's my caca. Right. Like, cause it's fun. I don't know. I love it. Anyways, felt some pressure in the back of my head. So much density there. I don't even remember everything. I just remember being with my inner child, then it was over. I had a headache and then it cleared. That's what's up. When I clear energy on my own, I don't feel as much as compared to this meditation. I feel like it might be impatient. Yeah, and I think sometimes Rhonda with that, it's like invocation in this container. Like we're invoking all these different things in community. There's relationships to energies that I've cultivated for a long time that if folks haven't cultivated those, then like they might not be there. So definitely patience, definitely practice, and then just build relationship with the energies that like contribute to healing to you. How do you build compassion and confidence when you realize it's your kaka? For myself is that like that's human. When I catch myself projecting, when I realize that like I've hurt somebody, I also realize that that's like just a perfectly normal human way to be, and like that I'm doing my best. And so like when, yeah, like I don't have like judgments. And when I do have judgments, I'm also like, compassionately holding those judgments, right? So like, when I'm judging that I'm mad and I'm judging that I'm upset that I'm mad, like I just start with that outside judgment and I hold that first, that I'm like, cool, I hear that you thought you were perfect, Ken. And I'm like, I know, right? I'm like, I'm so pissed. And I'm like, I hear that you thought you had done your work already. I hear that you thought you had already healed. And I'm like, oh, buddy, come here, you know? And it's like a kid. I think of like kids and they're like, I want to drive. And I'm like, bro, you're 4. Like, I'm like, sit down. It's going to be a minute, bro. You don't want, and then like, they could throw a tantrum. And I'm like, bro, yeah, I don't know, man. Like, it's going to be like 12 years, bro. You should really, I would save the energy. So similarly, like my judgments, like I hold them with a lot of compassion because like, yeah, it's like not up to, I even if I'm not where I think I'm supposed to be at, like I'm at where I'm at. And that's like worthy of like my love and respect. Could you speak to heart clairvoyance? Sarah, that's like a real big question. There is ways to read clairvoyantly from our heart and even like our solar plexus, but those are different reads. Different traditions will teach heart clairvoyance. It's really easy to get like enmeshed through that. You could, I will say to it though, like you could think of like clairvoyance up here, I'm reading from my individuation. Clairvoyance from my heart, I'm reading from my interconnectedness. So you can almost, like you're almost finding where you and that person are the same, but it's really hard to do that one skillfully. It can be done. I'm sure that there's people that teach it and teach it really well. I probably won't teach on that. I'm probably going to do like more extensive courses on clairvoyance, just for funsies, and people always ask me to do it. But yeah, I mean, so there is heart clairvoyance. It's tricky. But I mean, you could take everything I shared around this, and if you're wanting to explore that, just try that in your heart. And then as you're doing that, almost like have part of your motivation be like, I want to unlock my heart clairvoyance and I want to do it with really great boundaries, and up here it's really easy because like again, like it's like I'm individuated and looking, but here I'm almost like opening into our interconnectedness and then looking. So it can be tricky. I can see meshment being easy from that place. Yeah, I totally love the acceptance. I had a really good experience when I hear you thought that you were perfect. Yeah. That's what's up, kid. Thank you for sharing that. Cool. Yeah. Well, I have a class that I'm gonna go to, but love y'all so much. Next week we're either gonna do maybe a little bit of like more of the six perfections, or I want to, instead of clairvoyance or clairaudience, I want to do claircognizance. So I kind of like that clean space to get intuitive hits. I think that's more fun. But of course, clairaudience is really fun too. But yeah, I'll email y'all and we can tune in together. Cool. Bye.